Okay, so let's unpack this. But before we get into the tech or the business strategy or, the AI of it all, I want to start with this specific moment.
Hmm.
We found this incredible little piece of audio in the source folder, a file called wpsad2.mp4. It's short, it's chaotic, and honestly, it's a masterpiece.
Oh, I know exactly the clip you're talking about. It's visceral.
Right. You hear this guy, he's clearly stressed out of his mind, just yelling, "Milo, slow down. Gotcha." He is definitely wrestling with a dog.
You can just hear it, the paws scrambling on the pavement.
And right in the middle of all that chaos,
Hmm.
he's probably got a leash in one hand, a coffee in the other, the phone rings.
Of course it does. The universal sound of business calling.
Exactly. And because Milo's not cooperating, that call just rings, and then click, your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. The moment's just gone.
It's funny when you hear it because, it's not our money on the line. But for the person living that, that's a nightmare. That little sound file, it just perfectly captures what we call the tyranny of the ringtone.
That's a heavy phrase, tyranny of the ringtone.
It is heavy, but it's true. I mean, if you run a service business, plumbing, landscaping, even a law firm, that ringtone is your lifeline, is how you eat. But it's also a constant interruption.
And in that clip, the dog won. Milo happened, so the customer went to voicemail.
And we all know what happens next in 2026.
They hang up instantly.
They hang up, they go right back to Google, scroll down one more name, and call the next guy. The relationship was over before it even had a chance to start.
So that's really the jumping off point for our deep dive today. We're looking at a company that claims to have solved the whole Milo problem. We're analyzing Waypoint Solutions, LLC.
Which is based in Batesville, Indiana. All of our sources are current as of early 2026.
And their whole pitch is it's surprisingly aggressive. They're not trying to sell you a better voicemail.
No, it's not a call center either.
Right. They're selling a system where you never miss a call again. But, and this is the big kicker, without hiring a receptionist.
This is a really fascinating case study because it shows a real shift in where AI is being, actually used. We're used to hearing about AI in these massive data centers or LLMs that scrape the whole internet.
Or Silicon Valley startups trying to get to Mars.
Exactly. Waypoint is different. This is AI for your local roofer. This is AI for the dentist down the street.
The Main Street application of the technology.
Precisely. And the mission for this deep dive is to figure out if that's actually working. Can an AI voice agent really replace a human at the front desk? Or is it just a glorified answering machine that's going to annoy everybody?
Let's start with the stakes here. Because the first thing you see on Waypoint's website is this really blunt statement. Missed calls cost real money.
It sounds so obvious, right? But you have to look at the specific industries they target to really feel the weight of that. We're talking HVAC, plumbing, roofing, medical practices.
These are all immediate need services.
High urgency.
Right. If a pipe bursts in my basement, I am not browsing websites. I am panicking.
You're not leaving a voicemail and hoping someone calls you back in 3 hours when they're done walking their dog. You are calling until a human being answers the phone.
So every single one of those missed calls, it isn't just a missed call. It's what, 500, maybe $1,000 just walking out the door.
And that gets us to this core conflict, what we call the service paradox.
Okay, I like a good paradox. Unpack that for me.
The service paradox is, it's simple, but it's brutal. If you're a solo operator or you have a small crew, the time you are most valuable is when you're doing the work.
Fixing the sink on the roof with a patient.
Exactly. But that is the exact moment you physically cannot answer the phone to book the next job. You can't be under a car with a wrench and also be having a professional phone consultation. It's impossible.
So you have this leaky bucket. I saw that in Waypoint's materials.
Yeah, it's a perfect analogy. You pour all this marketing money in the top to get the phone to ring, Google Ads, SEO, whatever. But because you're busy actually earning money, there's this hole in the bottom called voicemail. And the revenue just leaks right out.
That is painful. You already paid for the lead, you did the hard part, and then you just let it slip away because you were busy.
It's a vicious cycle. And that's where Waypoint claims to step in. They say they plug the hole, but they're very, very specific about the language they use.
Right. It's not an answering service. It's an AI-powered voice agent. Is that just marketing fluff? Or is there a real difference?
No, the distinction is functional. An answering machine is passive. It just records something. It's a storage device. An agent is active. It does stuff. It interacts.
I'm looking at the How It Works section.
Yeah.
And the list of tasks is pretty wild. First, it says instant answer, 0 rings.
which solves that urgency problem right away.
But then it gets deeper. It says it qualifies leads.
That's the holy grail for any service business. It's not just answering, it's filtering.
And then this is the part that feels like sci-fi. It schedules appointments. It actually puts them on your calendar.
Think about the mental load that takes off someone. If you're that plumber, you don't have to spend your evening playing phone tag with 10 people. You just wake up, look at your calendar, and it's full.
And it's doing this 24/7. Nights, weekends, holidays.
That's becoming the baseline expectation now. We call it the Amazonification of service. We want everything immediately. If your furnace dies on Christmas Eve, you're calling the company that picks up, period.
Okay, but here's the elephant in the room. The thing everyone is thinking right now.
The robot voice.
The robot voice.
Yeah.
Please press 1. That 90s nightmare.
Yeah, or even the early Siri and Alexa voices. They're cold, they're clunky.
And if I'm stressed out about a legal problem or a medical issue, the last thing I want is to talk to a computer. I want to feel heard.
And Waypoint knows that. They tackle this head-on in their documentation. They make a very specific claim. Natural, human-sounding conversations.
The goal is for the caller to feel like they're speaking to a friendly professional assistant.
Exactly. It's interesting. They're not necessarily trying to trick you into thinking it's a real person. They just want the experience to feel human. It's a paradox, really.
How so?
They're using a machine to preserve the human connection. It allows the actual human, the expert, to be human where it counts in person doing the job.
Okay, let's get into the nuts and bolts. Because AI voice agent sounds expensive and complicated. I'm picturing servers, IT guys, downtime.
And for their target audience, roofers, dentists, mechanics, that kind of friction is a total deal breaker. They don't have an IT department.
Right.
But looking at the technical setup in the sources, they've removed pretty much all of that friction.
The first thing I saw in the FAQ that stood out was no new numbers.
That is huge. Your number is your identity. It's on the side of your van. It's on magnets on people's fridges. Changing your number is business suicide.
So how does it work then?
It's just call forwarding, basically. You set up a rule. If you don't answer after, say, 3 rings, or if your phone is on Do Not Disturb, the call just diverts instantly to the Waypoint agent. The caller has no idea. They just hear a friendly voice pickup.
So from the business owner side, the phone just stops ringing unanswered.
Correct.
But, and this is the control freak in me, if I'm not answering my own phone, how do I know the AI isn't going rogue? How do I know it's not promising free roofs to everyone who calls?
The rogue AI fear. It's valid, but they address that with a feature they just call visibility.
Like a dashboard.
It's more immediate than that. The source says the owner gets instant call summaries, an email or a text with the caller's info, a transcript of the call, and the appointment details.
So you get a receipt for every single interaction.
The quote is, "You stay in control. Nothing happens without visibility. You see everything the AI did. You just didn't have to stop working to do it."
I want to go back to something you said earlier, qualifying leads. Because that usually means a person asking a lot of questions. How does an AI do that without being, annoying?
They have a really smart, rigorous definition for this in their FAQ. They only count a call as a lead if it meets 3 specific criteria.
Okay, walk me through them.
First, it has to be a real caller.
Not a robocall about my car's extended warranty.
Exactly. Just filtering those out is a huge time saver. Second, the person has to give valid contact information. If they hang up, it's not a lead.
Makes sense. No contact, no business.
And the third one is the most important. They have to have a legitimate service need related to your business.
So the AI has to understand context.
It does. If you're a plumber and someone calls trying to order a pizza, the AI has to recognize that's not a lead. It politely ends the call, but it doesn't log it as a billable event for the business owner.
That is a fascinating distinction. It filters out all the noise.
All the tire kickers, all the wrong numbers. It cleans up the entire workflow so the owner only sees things that can actually make them money.
Okay, let's talk about who is behind this. Because when you hear AI company, you think of some glass tower in San Francisco.
Right, or a huge campus in Seattle.
But Waypoint Solutions, they're in Batesville, Indiana.
Very much so. We pulled their listing from the Batesville Area Chamber of Commerce. The address is 301 Shopping Village.
Shopping Village.
Yeah.
That sounds so wholesome.
It grounds them, doesn't it? This isn't some faceless entity in the cloud. They are literally members of their local Chamber of Commerce. The source talks about ribbon cuttings and member benefits.
Why does that matter, though? Is it just branding?
I think it signals trust. They're building a business for their neighbors. It suggests they actually understand the real-world pain points of a small-town business in a way a giant tech company just can't.
It feels approachable, like you could walk into the shopping village and talk to a person about your AI.
Which is a nice irony.
And that approachability seems to carry over to their pricing, too. I was expecting, huge retainers, ironclad, year-long contracts.
They go the complete opposite way. No long-term contracts is the first thing they say. But the second part is what really caught my eye. It's performance-based pricing on qualified leads.
Wait, so you pay per lead?
You pay a small monthly management fee for the tech, sure, but the bulk of the cost is tied directly to that qualified lead metric we just talked about.
That completely changes the incentives.
It's huge. Normally, a software company just wants to sell you a license. Here you go. Good luck. Waypoint is saying, we only really make money if our AI actually works for you. If it can't book jobs, Waypoint doesn't get paid much.
It puts their money where their mouth is, or where their digital voice is.
It totally de-risks it for the business owner. They aren't writing a blank check. They're paying for results.
So let's get concrete. Who is this actually for? The source material lists a ton of different businesses.
It's a diverse list for sure, but there's a common thread running through all of them.
I'm seeing home services, pest control, garage door repair, then medical chiropractors, optometry, and automotive towing, mobile mechanics.
The common thread is what I call high urgency. Hands busy.
Hands busy. I like that.
Let's use the mobile mechanic example. It's so visceral. You are literally underneath an F-150 on the side of the highway. Your hands are covered in grease.
You're physically incapable of answering a phone.
Exactly. But your phone buzzes. It's a stranded driver 3 miles away who needs a jump start. That's a $200 job calling you right now.
And if you don't answer...
They're calling the next guy on the list. They're not leaving a voice and waiting for you to crawl out from under a truck and call him back. They need help now.
So with Waypoint, the phone rings. The AI picks up. Thanks for calling Mike's Mobile. How can I help? The driver explains. The AI gets the location, maybe checks your calendar.
And books it. Okay, we can have someone there in 45 minutes.
Meanwhile, under the truck, you get a little ping on your watch. Next job confirmed. Stranded driver, exit 45.
You never stopped working? You didn't break your concentration? You didn't get grease all over your phone? But you just made $200.
That's the magic right there. It bridges the gap between doing the physical work and handling the digital booking.
And it applies to white-collar jobs, too, like the law firms they list?
Yeah, lawyers aren't usually under trucks.
No, but the cost of silence is just as high. If someone is calling a lawyer, they're probably stressed, maybe vulnerable. If they get a voicemail, they feel dismissed.
They don't have time for me.
Exactly. But if they get a calm professional assistant who takes down their information and assures them someone will review their case, they feel heard.
It stops them from calling the next firm on the list.
It captures the client right then and there. It sets a professional tone from the very first touch point, even if that touch point was silicon.
It's all about capturing that digital footprint of missed revenue.
You got it. You might be the best mechanic in town, but if your phone experience is a mess, people assume your work is a mess too. It turns that phone line from a passive, anxiety-inducing thing into an active asset.
An automated booking engine.
That's the key takeaway. It transforms your phone from a demand on your time into a tool that manages your time. It filters the bad, captures the good, and puts it right on your calendar.
And it does it at 3 in the morning if that's when a customer calls.
Which is just becoming the standard now. If you're not available, you're not an option.
It's a pretty compelling pitch.
Yeah.
Especially for anyone who's ever felt that sinking feeling of seeing a missed call notification.
The anxiety of the one that got away.
Yeah. Waypoint is basically saying, you don't have to worry about that anymore. We got it.
But this all raises a really important question for you, the listener, to think about as we close out. The FAQ section in the source material had this one fascinating line. It asks, will callers know they are talking to AI?
Oh, I missed that. What's the answer?
The answer is most callers don't ask.
Most callers don't ask.
Wow.
It suggests we've hit a tipping point. If the experience is smooth, if your problem gets solved, and the appointment is booked, do we even care if that first interaction was with a human?
That is a deep thought. I mean, if my basement is flooding, do I need to bond with the receptionist about the weather? Or do I just need to know the plumber is on the way?
Maybe at the end of the day, efficiency is the new form of customer service.
Well, while you mull that one over, I think we'll sign off. Maybe Milo the dog needs his own AI agent to handle his schedule.
I think Milo would just ignore the notifications.
You are probably right. Thanks for listening to this deep dive into Waypoint Solutions. We'll catch you in the next one.